Hello everyone, I'm Carius, and today I'd like to talk about converting mega and or rival blasters into shotguns, because I have a lot of these. Oh, this is actually loaded with short darts. I didn't know that. So I love shotguns, obviously, and I've made quite a few shotgun conversions like this over the years. I got stuff as simple as taking a sledge-fire shell and putting it on. This is a Busby Baron. It used to shoot mega darts, now it shoots 3 regular darts. Of course, there's the shotgun pistol from my earlier video, which is the same idea. Or you've got 3D printed shotgun cylinders that you can put on Cyclone Shocks or Roto Furies. And the most exciting, the Megalodon, which gives you 20 3-dart shots, 60 darts, and is probably the craziest 3D print I'm ever going to do as far as sheer size. It was a several-day print. It took up my entire print bed, and it required a sledgehammer to remove the print from the print bed. This tape is around it because it's slightly cracked from just how hard it was stuck to the bed. That was a nightmare. But anyway, figured I'd just do some firing demonstrations of these different shotguns and check out the chronograph results and compare them to stock shotguns like the Shell Strike or an actual sledge fire, or even this goofy thing, the Judge, which is fun, but is way too huge. For about half the size, you have twice as many shots. Or you have a Roto Fury, which I wouldn't recommend bothering with the Roto Fury cylinder for several reasons. I'll get into those when I talk about the blasters individually. One of the biggest annoyances when you're doing these conversions is actually making enough room for the darts to come out the front. Cyclone Shock, you can see I've got this piece of PVC and I hollowed out the barrel quite a bit. This has got a Busby snipe barrel that I dremeled enough space for, and that gave the darts enough room. But that was a huge annoying process. This one I think I didn't do anything to. Yeah, the Megalodon out of the box has enough space. It has a wider barrel, and there's enough space for the darts to come through. So that's another reason the Megalodon is such a good version of this concept. Hopefully the 3D printing noise isn't too loud. I did get the Prusa up and running. Printed a little whistle. I don't know what JP stands for. It was just on the part. It's one of the demo prints that come with the Prusa. Oh, Joseph Prusa. Duh. But this is up and running. Apparently I didn't put anything together incorrectly. It was perfect the first time, which was a miracle. It's working. It's working. Okay, I've got everything loaded up and ready to shoot. I just filled them all with waffle darts. We'll see how they do. Okay, let's start with some of the stock blasters. We got a Shell Strike, which will probably be the softest shooting of all these. 38 FPS. Kind of finicky to reload, but it is a neat little blaster. There's another 38. Alright. Do one more shot. And a third 38. Wow. At least it's consistent. Now for the Judge. This one's stock. They have a pretty beefy spring in them to start with. I put a K25 in this one, I believe. But I ended up taking it out because it wasn't shooting as hard. 55. 54. 53. 52. 51? 53. Okay. 57. 54. 63. Average around 55. But it is gigantic. You could fit 2 or 3 times the amount of shots in all this wasted space. It's super fun to use, but I really wish they would have squeezed more darts in here. Like, I could easily see 20 shots, or at least 15, fitting into this space, but oh well. Next we have my modded sledge fire. 55, okay. Maybe it is not as modded as I remember. 57. 57 again. But it's shooting pretty much identically to the Judge. Maybe this is stock. I'm not sure. It's one of my favorite blasters of all time, I think. It's just lots of fun. The shells are really interesting. I wish they didn't switch over to these fat, weird shells on the newer shotguns, because they're just not as good in my opinion. But now we got the Busby Baron. Now this thing has an almost long shot sized plunger tube in it. It's pretty crazy, and it makes a really nice shotgun pistol. Oh, gotta prime it first. That's 64. That's pretty good. It's just a perfect form factor to turn into a master key. Just cut off the trigger and the handle and link something else to it and put this on the underbarrel of like a long shot or something. And you got a shotgun. Then we have the knockout shotgun, which is quite a bit more powerful. It's getting in the 70s. 65. 69. So high 60s, low 70s. Now we got the shotgun cylinders. Got the Cyclone Shock. If the guy who made these is still selling them, I'll put a link in the description. I bought this a long ass time ago. This was the first shotgun conversion mod like this I did, and it works pretty well. With any of these blasters where you're converting 1 mega to shoot 3 single darts, you're gonna get around stock sledge fire performance. 49, 46, 44. It's not terrible. You can definitely hit somebody like 30 feet away. Yeah, this is comparable to the Shell Strike in terms of performance, but you got 6 shots, so that's kind of nice. Now the Roto Fury, the cylinder was made by the same guy that did the Cyclone Shock. It was a lot more trouble to put together for a couple reasons. One, you can't get the cylinder out of a Roto Fury without cutting through the priming bar. And the kit that this guy sells actually has a coupler to reattach the priming bar together after you cut it for that reason. So it was pretty cool. But that's kind of a pain. And also, Roto Furies like to self-destruct after you've been using them for a long time. The back of the plunger rod just will shatter. And then the Roto Fury can't pull it back anymore and it won't prime, and you'll just hear rattling plastic on the back. I've had this happen to 2 different Roto Furies, including this one, and I've actually replaced the whole back piece of the plunger rod with a piece of plastic that I bolted in there instead, and now it works, but I'm not sure how long that'll stay together. So what you got is a more compact, better form factor Judge, basically, but it's a real pain to mod. I didn't even mention hollowing out this whole front section so that the darts have enough room to go through. And this is a Busby snipe barrel that I put there. I think it looks pretty good, but it was a huge pain to do. Let's see how it shoots. 37. 49. 49 again. 39. And the way I fixed the plunger rod made it so that slam fire no longer works in this blaster, unfortunately. so you just have to shoot it normally, but it's still, you got a nice little street sweeper. I'd honestly just say buy a judge instead of doing this. Even though the judge is huge, it's the same number of shots and it shoots a little better, and you don't have to do this nightmarish mod to get what is basically the same thing. Now last but certainly not least, and probably my favorite of all of these, is the Megalodon. Now this was a crazy 3D print. It took multiple days and required the use of a hammer to remove from the print bed. I got a little bit of layer separation just from hammering it off the bed, so I ended up putting a piece of duct tape all the way around it just to make sure it doesn't have any weird leaks from that. But other than that, it seems to work pretty well. But having 20 shotgun shots like this is great, and the Megalodon, it has slam fire. Well, that one dart was looser than the other ones, and it launched out at 60, 30, 55, 49. So about the same stock sledge fire numbers. 59, that's pretty good. But you've got 20 shots ready, and you have slam fire. 18. I think I hit the chronograph with that last one. It depends on your darts too. If you have looser darts, you'll get weird shots where 1 or 2 darts won't shoot quite as well. So it's a little inconsistent. It's much better with tighter darts. If you like load this with Adventure Force waffle darts, you'll get way better performance out of it, but it's still super fun. My only real complaint with the Megalodon is that it's just hard to aim because of how you're holding it and shooting it. It's like not very intuitive where you're pointing it, and especially when you're slam firing it, it just seems like your shots are going everywhere. So we get about the same performance. All the Mega Blasters shoot in the 40s and 50s when converted to shotguns like this. Alright, I got one more shotgun to show off, and it is this, the DOOMSlayer. This is a Turbo Advance that was painted by Valor, and you can see his logo on there, that I just recently put a double shot plunger front in. Let me see if you can see it. There we go. So this is a 3D printed part, actually the first thing that I printed on my new Prusa. Put this together today, and what it does is that instead of switching between the 2 rows in the Turbo Advance, it just lets you shoot 2 at once, which is kind of cool. Its performance is a little low. It is taking a blaster meant to shoot 1 dart and making it shoot 2, but it's still pretty fun to shoot. Let's see what it does on the chronograph. 52, error 2, 45, 47, 53, 46. So yeah, the same kind of thing as the other shotguns, but you're shooting 2 darts instead. So yeah, that one works pretty well. It's also got 20 shots. 2 shots each. It's kind of tricky to get the new 3D printed part to work. I had to seal it with a different O-ring and then add 2 layers of foam on the front of it, but now that it's working, it shoots pretty well. And it looks pretty cool. This is one of Valor's paint jobs. He does a really good job on this kind of thing. And it was basically just stock with a slightly stronger spring. Then I did the double shot mod to it, and now it feels more thematically appropriate, being painted like a Doom shotgun to actually be shooting 2 darts at once. So that's pretty much it for this video. I just wanted to show off all these different shotguns and kind of compare them. All the Mega ones are pretty fun, but they only do 40 to 50 FPS, and they're kind of a pain to put together and get working. Oddly enough, you're almost just better off buying a judge instead of messing with something like this. I think the most worth it is the Cyclone Shock, just because of how compact it is and how relatively easy it is to get it working. The Megalodon is a nightmare print, but it's pretty awesome once you get it working. You can get some pretty inconsistent shots, though. It really depends on what darts you're using. You need like nice, fresh darts that are really snug in the barrels for it to fire consistently. Otherwise, you'll get one dart shooting out and the rest just kind of falling out the barrel. And the Roto Fury is a massive pain to mod in this way, because you've literally got to cut the priming bar to get to the cylinder, and then the plunger rod will eventually self-destruct on you because it's a Roto Fury. So just get a judge instead. The best performing one is just this little rival guy. It hits pretty hard, and it's got the stock spring, which you could probably get a shotgun pistol hitting 80 or more FPS with a upgraded spring in one of these. But that's it. Thanks for watching my shotgun craziness. I will see you in the next video, and until then, this has been Carius reminding you to have fun. I bet I can hit harder than most of these shotguns with just a blowgun shooting 3 darts. Yeah, that was almost 80. Let's load another 3. 87. Wow. Which one do you think is better? They're like, I don't know. I'm just a cat. Inconclusive. She knocked over that one. She must like that one better.